Ahem. La 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 la. Hey! Oh, hey everyone! I didn't see you there. I was just practicing for the new show that I'm in. It's actually a musical about pirates. Super fun, with all of the swashbuckling duels, dance numbers, and of course, big songs. To be totally honest though, I'm a little bit nervous about having to do all of these things. I mean, it's not like I go around every day fighting with swords while also singing and dancing. Fortunately, I won't be on my own learning all of these new skills. There will be some very experienced people helping me out. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We'll be covering music directors in making music, choreographers in creating choreography, and fight choreographers in finessing fights. By the end of today's lesson, you'll be able to explore each of these theatrical positions by describing their duties, analyzing each job's significance, examining the production process, and scrutinizing qualifications. You will also practice or observe a short vocal, dance, and fight combination. Ahoy, me mateys! Let's weigh anchor and set sail! And we'll start by talking about music directors in making music. In theater, most productions are classified as either straight plays or musicals. Straight plays typically have no or very few songs or musical numbers. On the other hand, songs are an essential part of musicals. Often, musicals also include dancing as well. In theater, the music director usually oversees all of the musical elements, including casting, rehearsing, hiring the orchestra, and conducting the performances. The music director is essential in musicals. They understand how the music and songs affect the production story. The job includes determining how to use the music to highlight critical dramatic and emotional moments in the show. The music director must guide the actors and the orchestra to consistently deliver quality performances, both vocally and musically. After the music director accepts the job, they typically receive a score to study. A score is similar to a script, but for music. It contains all of the sheet music for the show, including songs and instrumental numbers. During the audition process, the music director will hear everybody's vocal audition. Sometimes they may ask to test an actor's range, which means to see how high and low they can sing. Or they will teach a short song from the show. Once the production has been cast, the rehearsal process begins. The music director will then lead music rehearsals, which are often the first rehearsals where the cast comes together to learn the music for the show. Once the cast is familiar with the music, blocking and choreography begin. At that point, the music director will pull individuals to work on solos, duets, and smaller numbers. During music rehearsals, the music director usually has a pianist called an accompanist or a collaborative pianist that plays for them while they teach the songs. Eventually, the music director will hire the rest of the orchestra. They'll rehearse the music with all of the musicians, and then the orchestra will begin rehearsing with the cast. When the show opens, the music director is responsible for conducting the orchestra during the performances. Often, they will also lead warm-ups before the shows. Because the music director is the highest musical position in a musical theater production, the qualifications are usually fairly high. Most music directors have experience as conductors, musicians, accompanists, or composers. If you're interested in becoming a music director, one of the best places to start would be with piano lessons, because you'll be able to learn how to read music and you could eventually work as an accompanist. You could also try taking voice lessons, where you would learn vocal technique. And speaking of vocal technique, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend Caroline to teach you a quick voice exercise.
Thanks, Juan. Okay, today, everybody, we're going to be doing a quick singing exercise. We're going to sing an octave, that's 8 notes. We're going to go up the scale, then work our way back down the scale. We'll be singing on an E sound, but instead of doing a really wide E like this, we're going to push the corners of our mouth in like this, E. And as you sing, make sure you have correct posture, stand up straight, shoulders back, and breathe into your belly very deep. Nice. All right, I'll be giving you the note we're going to sing every time. You ready? Let's go. E, 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 E. Breathe deep. Keep the corners of your mouth in. One more. Great job.
Thanks, Caroline. Wow, you all sounded so amazing. Check out the PDF for a longer vocal warm-up with Caroline. But before we get into that, let's take a look at choreographers with creating choreography. In theater, the choreographer is the person who devises, creates, and teaches the dances and other specialized movements, like curtsying or bowing. The choreographer enhances productions through creating movements that support the show's story. The choreographer strives to show the emotion, setting, time period, and drama through the actor's physicality. Choreographers typically work closely with the music director and director. Once they have the director's vision and have heard the music, they'll begin to create the dances or specialized movements for the show. Often, the choreographer will collaborate with the costume, hair, and wig designers as well. It's important that the actors can perform the choreographer's movements without being impeded by their clothes or their hair. During the audition process, the choreographer may teach a dance section to see how quickly actors can pick up on the choreography. Then, in rehearsals, the choreographer is responsible for teaching the actors the dances and specialized movements. Usually, the choreographer assigns one cast member as the dance captain. The dance captain works almost like the choreographer's assistant. When the show opens, the choreographer typically leaves, and the dance captain is responsible for keeping up the integrity of the show's dances and specialized movements. In order to be a choreographer, formal dance training is not required, but it is definitely helpful. However, choreographers must have more skills than just being able to dance. They must also be excellent communicators, teachers, and visionaries. Choreographers must be able to collaborate with others, create original dances and movements, and then teach them to the actors. If you're interested in becoming a choreographer, a great place to start would be in a dance class. For musical theater, the most useful styles are typically tap, jazz, and of course, ballet. However, any type of dance from hip-hop to voguing to ballroom dancing is always valuable. Maybe there aren't any dance classes offered near you. In that case, take a look at online tutorials. Perhaps try creating your own dance and then teaching it to your friends and family. And while we're on the subject of teaching, please welcome back Caroline, who's going to teach you a short dance combination.
Thanks, Juan. Okay, today, everybody, we're going to be learning a very simple combination called a step ball change. Here's how it works. I'll be mirroring you, so you can just look directly at me and copy what I'm doing. So when I say right foot, you will step on your right foot. I'll be stepping on my left, so that way you can just follow along by looking directly at the camera. All right, so how we're going to start, you are going to start by stepping on your right foot. You'll be stepping out, not a big step out to the side, just a very small step out to the side, almost hip width apart, right? So step here, and then you're going to be bringing your left foot, and you're going to just lightly step on the ball of your foot at a slight angle, right? So you're just doing a very light step, not leaning forward really biggy, and not putting your foot down all the way. Just stepping onto the ball of your foot, bring your other foot up slightly, and then you're going to rock back. Let's practice just that rocking motion. Rock, 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 rock. Beautiful. And this is the ball change. Ball change. Ball change. Nice. So then after you do your ball change, you're going to swing your front foot around, and that is your second step. And then we'll ball change on the other side. Let's practice just the first one. Step, ball, change. Perfect. Now let's move on to our second one. Step, ball, change. Bring that foot around. Step, take your other foot to the front. Ball, change. You see how that works? Let's try doing both step ball changes. Here we go. Step, ball, change, step, ball, change. Beautiful. Let's try doing 4 in a row. Step, ball, change, step, ball, change, step, ball, change, step, ball, change. All right, time to speed this up. Are you ready? We'll start slow and then I'll be speeding us up as we go along. With your hands, you can either put them to the side, you can bring them up, or you can move them as you do your step ball change. Whatever feels comfortable to you. Ready? Here we go. Step, ball, change, 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 and shake it all out. Great job, everyone.
That was so great! If you love dancing, take a look at the PDF. Will you have a chance to learn a longer routine so you can continue to move and to groove? And let's move and groove along to our next subject, finessing fights with fight choreographers. A fight choreographer is responsible for creating, teaching, and overseeing all the combat or stunts in a production. Combat and stunts can include anything from a punch, to a sword fight, to a fall. The fight choreographer is essential to the production. Not only do they create realistic looking fights or stunts, they also ensure the safety of the actors. Fight choreographers also enhance the setting and time period of plays by making sure that the equipment and movements are historically accurate. During the production rehearsal process, the fight choreographer works closely with the director. They collaborate to find the moments in the show where combat or stunts support the story. After the fight choreographer creates the movements, they teach them to the actors, always emphasizing safety first. Even though the fights are fake, accidents can happen, so actors must keep their movements in control and always remember safety first. Similar to a choreographer, a fight choreographer may also have a fight captain. This is a member of the cast who helps to oversee the stage combat. Once the show opens and the fight choreographer leaves, the fight captain will make sure that the combat and stunts remain the same. Usually, they hold a fight call before every show to practice the combat routines for safety. And while this sounds like a lot of fun, there are some very specific qualifications usually required of fight choreographers. Most are certified, which means that they've been trained and passed the test with the Society of American Fight Directors. And again, just like choreographers, fight choreographers need more than just combat skills. They must also be able to communicate and collaborate well with others, create their own fight choreography, and teach combat routines safely. Fight choreographers must also be able to research and provide historical accuracy. If you're interested in being a fight choreographer, check to see if there are any stage or film combat classes near you. Or perhaps you can take sword fighting classes like my friend Caroline did when she was in high school. Martial arts will work to help your agility, and gymnastics or tumbling classes will increase your ability to perform stunts, which are always helpful in fight scenes. And speaking of fight scenes, please join me in welcoming back Caroline.
Hey friends, it's me, Caroline. I'm your fight choreographer for today. Woo woo! So today, remember, we always practice safety first. Now, we are going to be learning 2 different moves today. We're going to do a slap and a punch. Here's the way we do the slap. First of all, we're going to face each other. And I'm going to be the slapper. Juan will be the slappy. And the first thing we want to make sure is that we start out, how fast?
Slow.
That's right. Not fast at all. Very, very slow. Now, we want to discuss who's going to be doing the nap first. Remember, the nap is the sound that happens to make it feel realistic. So, in this version, we're going to let Juan do the nap. Juan, will you demonstrate how you're going to do the nap?
Yeah, there's 2 ways that I can do the nap. So first is with your thigh, the upstage thigh. So sounds pretty cool. And then the second one we'll explain later is once Caroline slaps me, you can do it with your hands covering it.
Nice. Just like that. Awesome. Now, the person who is slapping, You want to make sure that you are letting the other actor know that you're getting ready to slap, right? So we're gonna do something called telegraphing. I'm gonna bring my arm around this way. So first I make eye contact with Juan, so we both know it's happening. And then I'm gonna bring my hand to the back around here, so he knows it's getting ready to swing up. You're gonna be aiming like you are going to go past his face, right? So I'm aiming right across here. Now you'll notice right here, even if Juan didn't move, I still wouldn't hit him in the face, right? Because I've made sure that there's enough distance between the two of us that we are always safety first, right? Okay, so make sure that your arm, when it comes around, that it's aiming in that region though, where if you actually did hit, you'd be hitting in the right place. So it's kind of like a nice little arc. And Juan is going to make sure that his body turns in the direction of the hit, right? Because if he turned the other way, well, that wouldn't make any sense. All right, let's try it at a very slow speed first. Ready? Here we go.
Oh!
Nice. All right, now let's show it at show speed. Here we go.
Oh!
Awesome. Now let's go for a punch so you can see a different type of nap. Here's another way you could nap. If I'm going to punch Juan, I'm so mad, I'm going to hit him. So I'm grabbing his collar up here. As my punch travels across, I will open my hand, hit my own hand, then make my hand into a fist again. So it looks like I hit him. Let's watch that really slow. I'm going to pull Juan down because I'm a lot shorter than he is. Ah, Juan, why? Remember, telegraphing here, reaching way back, punching across, open, close. All right, let's see this in show speed. Ready? Ah, Juan, why?
Oh!
Nice. Awesome. So that is how you can do a slap and a punch safely. Remember, always
Safety first, slow.
All right, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for helping us out, Caroline. If you want to study stage combat some more, take a look at the PDF for this lesson. And while we're on the subject of this lesson, let's finish up by reviewing our lesson objectives, where we covered music directors in making music, choreographers in creating choreography, and fight choreographers in finessing fights. You are now able to explore each of these theatrical positions by describing their duties, analyzing each job's significance, examining the production process, and scrutinizing qualifications. You also practiced or observed a short vocal, dance, and fight combination. Don't forget to check out the practice questions and PDF for this lesson to prepare for our next unit, performance. Now, avast me hearties! Until our ships cross again, remember, in theater, like in life, the limit is your imagination. Higher!
Hey!